I never answer to it. It never occurs to me they're talking to me. But Garth, I hear all the time. They made me shoot a rocket launcher, a real rocket launcher, because it was cheaper than the CGI. They blew up a car, and it was 2000.
Are you running away from it?
No, we're walking slowly away from it.
It's just the wheels.
So you can't even...
No. Here's the thing.
What's up? My name's Joe. Welcome to the Lightweights Podcast. Today's guest, DJ Qualls, returns for the second time. The first time he came on, we talked about a bunch of movies like Road Trip, New Guy. I missed a whole slew of things that he's done in the past, like Z Nation, Man in the High Castle, Supernatural, and there was so much demand on that, so I wanted to do a whole episode dedicated to all those things, as well as some fun things that he does on his own podcast with his partner Kelly. She joins the conversation as well. So if you haven't yet, give this video a like, leave a comment down below if there's anything else you want to hear from DJ in more depth, and we might run it back for a third time. So please enjoy the chat with DJ Qualls. Oh, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and give a thumbs up and a comment down below, as it really helps with the video. All right, see ya. Can we talk Supernatural?
Yeah.
What was your first reaction when you saw the script?
So they offered it to me and I turned it down.
Which is crazy.
I know. But
do you ever think about that? That you almost turned it down?
Yeah, all the time.
Well, you did turn it down, but...
Yeah, but if I didn't do it, I would have missed out on some great friendships, and my partner ties on that show. I would have missed out so much, and I'm so glad that I did it, and it was such an important part of my experience, has been such an important part of my experience, and to this day, it's the only character name that I answer to in public.
So when people call you Garth, you're like...
And I get called it all the time. But none of the other things register in that same way. Like even my own name, when somebody calls me Donald, it doesn't ever feel like it's me. Because I've been called DJ since I was born, because my mother hates Donald. So she's always called me DJ.
Did she name you Donald?
Yeah, but my dad made her do it. It was the South. It was confusing times. They were children. And so she's called me DJ since the day I was born. So I've only ever been DJ. So when somebody calls me Donald or sees who I am on the internet and they see my real name is Donald, and they'll call it from across the room or like in an airport or something, I never answer to it. It never occurs to me they're talking to me. But Garth, I hear all the time. And I didn't do that many episodes, but the character was really impactful. And then I was involved in a couple storylines that I couldn't be there for because I was on Man in the High Castle. So I was on the phone with them a lot. But it wasn't me, so I never knew. When people were like, "Oh, I can't believe Kevin's on your ship. Do you know that you're in your ship's? That's a clever name. What they named your ship." And I'm like, "What is Garth's ship name on Supernatural?" And it's called Fizzle's Folly. Mr. Fizzle's the name of this puppet that I used to talk to children who had seen ghosts. But it really taught me to come from a place of yes, career-wise. If something makes sense, I was so tired. I'd just come off a movie that was a hard shoot, and they wanted me to go without much rest to Vancouver to film and create a brand new character. And that's not a woe is me thing, but it takes a lot to create something brand new. If I was going back to something that was running, it's different. But I don't know this person. I don't know what his mannerisms are, and I don't know, there's so much so much work that you have to do before you get there. And I just wanted a break. Sometimes you just need a break from things.
Were you aware of Garth's arc?
No.
So that happened as it's going on?
Yeah. And the beautiful thing was the writers, Adam Glass wrote Garth, and they start writing for you as time goes on because they see what you do and what your strengths are and who you are as a person. And that was a really great experience. I love TV because of that. There's an old saying that TV makes you rich, but movies make you famous. And I think that's kind of true. But TV, it's way better. It's not the money; it's the community. Because when you start doing something, it could go on for years. And there's 200 people on the other side. There's a caterer. There's craft service people, drivers. So many people that are part of that experience for you. And I really love that. I love building something. And also TV for me growing up was my best friend. It showed me a world outside of my own. And it was my way of escape. And now that I'm on it, I understand the magic of it even more. We're in your house. It's not like just being in a movie that you can watch where we're saying the same thing. You're watching us evolve. You're following our story, and we're in your house. That's pretty powerful. It's a different connection.
I think TV is more popular than movies now. It is.
For sure, yeah.
How excited you got over Yellow Jackets?
Yeah, I love it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I usually wait. Yellow Jackets is one of the only things that I'm watching as it's coming out. I usually wait until it's done. I waited to the very
10
end.
years
Yeah,
after it's done.
And I'm mad about shit that happened 10 years ago, and I have nobody to commiserate with.
Misty.
Yeah, I watched Game of Thrones in the last month. I binged it all to get to the finale with everybody else. And I was live tweeting watching it, but not about what was happening, but just like general ideas. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And when I lost my mind, everybody came underneath me and did this, Red Wedding. And I'm like, fuck yeah. But it blew my mind by myself. But I hate waiting. I hate waiting for things. The wait times for stuff is so long.
Yellow Jackets took forever.
Yeah, and dude, Stranger Things.
I haven't been into that. Even White Lotus took a while.
The one who was the biggest sort of offender other than Stranger Things of that was Peaky Blinders. Between the 3rd and 4th seasons, like I've forgotten everything. And I tried to watch the 4th season and it was like I was so lost in the first couple episodes. I'd lost the love for it. It was too long, but the show is excellent. I'm sure if I sat down and watched it from beginning to end now, I would feel the way I felt, but I felt cheated on. I'm like, you took my time and threw me away, and now I don't know. We've grown apart. We have grown apart.
Yeah, a lot of those shows when it's like a really long time before it comes back, even the recaps of like last season and this, I'm like, I don't remember any of this shit.
I need more recap.
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders didn't. That's the other thing. Peaky Blinders didn't do a recap.
Is that Netflix?
Yeah. Have you seen it? Mm-mm. It's really good.
I couldn't get into it. It was too old school.
All right.
Like too 1700s? Or?
See, it was turn of the 20th century. It's 1900s.
1900s.
I love historical fiction, though. Like that show, what's Elle Fanning's show with Nicholas Hoult? It's called, she's playing Catherine the Great on Hulu. Highly recommend. I love costume dramas. I just finished PBS ran their first season of who's the French queen who got her head cut off?
Queen's Gambit.
No, the French queen who got her head cut.
Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette, yeah.
Marie Antoinette.
I just watched the first season of Marie Antoinette. It's not very good, but it's gorgeous to watch. I love all of that stuff. It's escapism in a way, and I'm less likely to know people in those shows. Like, I don't know a lot of people who are in historical dramas.
Do you get excited for something like Z Nation, where it is like all costumes and there's a whole world outside of what's actual reality?
It was really fun. I actually took that job with barely reading the script because legit had been canceled, and I cried for 2 whole days.
So you just wanted a new job?
I just wanted to not be at home crying and being upset. I'd never felt that before.
So a zombie thing didn't even excite you?
I didn't care. I just needed to leave the house. When Legit was canceled, it crushed me. It made me think I didn't want to do this anymore. It broke my heart. I'd never, ever done a job that I loved that much, ever.
Did you love the character? Or
I loved the character. I loved the fact. Also, I think it was cathartic in a way because it was somebody who had a thing wrong with them, who was regarded differently by the world, and who just got shat on like everybody else. Everybody was fair game on that show, and it was so beautiful because before the show came out, a lot of people who had muscular dystrophy or who have any sort of disabilities did this online thing where I was playing Crip Face. That's what they call it. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to hate me because I am able-bodied and I am playing somebody, but I think I'm doing it with sensitivity. And then after the first couple of episodes, I won them on my side. And we reached out and we started this community of people, and a lot of them have since passed, and some of them passed during the show. And I was doing a convention in Seattle last year, and a guy who I spoke to a lot, his mom came up, and she's like, I just came over here today to say that he just passed, and we just loved you so much, and it was wonderful. We rehearsed the whole day like a play. It felt we could add things if they were better. It just felt free, and I'd never.
It's such a brilliant show.
It's
like
so
it's
brilliant.
a tragedy
that
it's not bigger than it is.
And it was canceled
most people
for
haven't seen
a
it.
personality reason between I think our creator and maybe the head of the network. They knew each other, and it wasn't because of the show.
Yeah, they were being petty.
And it was just it really hurt. And I got offered Z Nation the next day. And I read.
Did they know that it got canceled? And then
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Because that's what happens a lot in TV. It's like
your name pops up. You're free now.
Mm-hmm. And something's going into production like soon. Do you want to come do this? And I think they were in the process of reading people, and they were right near making a decision. And I got free, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come do this thing?" And I skimmed it. And I'm like, "Yep, I'll be there. I will come to Spokane and do this." And then we did the pilot. The show got picked up, and then I booked Man in the High Castle between the pilot getting picked up. Oh, here's what my manager did that was genius. He was like, yes, but he's able to take other employment before you decide, because we're not just going to wait, because they weren't going to pay to hold me anyway. And so I booked that show, and then we negotiated where I could shoot both at the same time.
Oh, wow. So were they working around your schedule?
Yeah. Well, I was by myself for the first 3 years,
Right.
just in the North Pole. I know. Me and that fucking
Acting or not
me
acting?
and that dog, who was a different dog every single season. Because the first year the dog who was a kind of a trained dog, I think he did a dog food commercial and got famous, and then we couldn't afford him anymore. So the second year, second year we had a dog that was kind of trained. And then the third year we had a dog that wouldn't even fucking look at me. And so then we had this wolf pelt that we stuffed with bubble wrap, and we'd put it blurry in the background, and they would just rattle it around. So, and nobody knew. They couldn't tell. But I loved doing the show because it was a great experience, because Man in the High Castle was super high budget. I think at the time it was the second most expensive show after Game of Thrones.
Crazy.
Like $15 million episodes that took 3 weeks to film. An episode of TV takes 8 days.
The production's insane.
Insane, right? So I got this really high-end experience where, with the good food, and then I went to Spokane, and it was like being held together with like paper clips and hope. They made me shoot a rocket launcher, a real rocket launcher, because it was cheaper than the CGI.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, after the fact, I was like stoked that I did it. Actually, I was stoked going into it, and then I realized afterward that there was no money to sue in case they blew my face off. Actors without faces, it's a hard sell.
Yeah, but you'll get some jobs.
Yeah. But then, like, I literally had 2 stuntmen underneath the frame. The frame was cut off at my waist, holding my legs down so it didn't knock me down.
So you don't blow back?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then a third guy, as when I went back, put a hand solid in my back so I looked like a hero. It was kind of dope. And I shot a rocket launcher.
Did you have training for that?
No. And that's the other thing. Everything, it was like, okay, you're going to run through, and this is how you put this thing together. Because I was holding both pieces, and you just do this, click down the little thing, and then do that. And and they wanted me to do one of those, those like jumps where you do a full jump on top of a box. And I'm like, are you familiar with my physicality? And could you imagine me being able to do that? I actually could do it. I was shocked.
NBA star DJ
I was
Qualls.
shocked that I could do it. I did it, but I was running from a zombie, and I think I might have shot the zombie, and then and I look in the distance and a horde of zombies coming my way. So I jump up on the box, I take the 2 pieces, I put it together, click out the thing, and then shoot the rocket launcher.
Is this all one take?
All one take. And they're like, okay, they told me about the guys underneath me and the guy behind me. The guys underneath me. The guy's holding me so I wouldn't fall. Because I was like, what about the pushback, or the recoil or whatever? Because I've shot guns before, and they're like, well, they're going to be here, here, and here. Okay. But there was never any, if it starts hissing, if it makes a sound, there was nothing, right? It reminded me, I went ziplining in Mexico recently, and it got about that kind of instruction. Just like, you click this on here, go. And it felt like not a lot of instruction, but you're working on adrenaline. And also there's a lot of pressure because they have 1 round. And it's like when the car blew up in Road Trip, it exploded. They had 1 bomb, 1 car, and you make it work. It scared the shit out of me. But something takes over because you have to. You have to perform. And I think also I have this thing where I'm always afraid that the big dudes on set will be like, this fucking guy, that I can't fail. I will hurt myself. I would rather be dragging my arm behind me than admit that I've been hurt.
Was the car bomb in Road Trip the expensive shot?
Yeah. But it was also 1 car, 1 bomb.
Like a real bomb? There was a
real
bomb tech
bomb
on set?
Yeah. They were put netting in all the trees. There were cameramen in the trees, like cameras everywhere. They blew up a car, and it was 2000.
Are you running away from it?
No, we're walking slowly away from it.
So you can't even...
No. Here's the thing. Here's an Easter egg for that. If you watch it, I'm so nervous that I start to tense up. I'm carrying my bag. I start to tense up as I'm walking away, and you can see it if you replay it. And then I turn around, I see that my father's car's blown up, and they want me to do a Lipton iced tea fall, a straight back, not a brace fall. And I did it. And fucking hurt so bad. But again, I would rather die than let you know that I've been injured on set.
You're not falling into a beanbag?
No, I fell down because it was a wide shot. and on it, and it was. They moved the big boulder so I wouldn't hit my head, but every fucking little shard I felt. I don't care. It's my first movie too. They could have done a lot worse to me.
Did you get in one take?
We had to. There was one bomb.
Oh, even the fall.
Yeah, the car smoking in the background, right? The whole thing. And then I got up, and the heat was so intense, and my adrenaline was running. I got up, and I stood up, and I did this, and the whole back of my hair was crispy. And I'm like, I've been burned. I've been burned. And it was fucking leaves. It was dry leaves because we shot this in the fall. And since then, I would rather die than admit I feel anything.
I can't believe you shot a bazooka.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation with DJ, but real quick, a word from our sponsor. Did you know that there's an online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC right to your door? And they found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients to target nearly every mood and health concern you can think of. I'm talking about Mood.com's incredible line of functional gummies, and you can get 25% off your first order at Mood.com and promo code LIGHTWEIGHT. Forget one-size-fits-all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and take you to the mood you're looking for. Whether it's Magic Mind gummies for deep work and creativity, or PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings, there's Sexual Euphoria gummies to help you feel ready for action and turn every touch into a full body experience. Everything ships discreetly right to your door. No dispensary lines, no awkward conversations. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 25% off their first order with code LIGHTWEIGHT. So head to Mood.com, find your functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. Don't forget to use promo code LIGHTWEIGHT when you check out to save 25% off your first order. You did PR for a sugar baby website?
Mm-hmm.
How?
I answered an ad and got a job, and it was one of those things where I had to find the products and all of that stuff myself. So I'm like constantly doing research for new stuff. But my boss was heavily involved with seekingarrangement.com.
And how stupid is she? She's poor. You had access to all those men.
You could have been top priority.
I know. And I was hot back then. Like
it's because did you have morals? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
morals
I just
are bad.
It wasn't really morals. It was just like I am not good at faking being interested.
Yeah, you don't want to give a pukey
people.
hand job to somebody once a month in exchange for gifts.
Yeah,
I would. So when I worked at a law firm, there was an older lawyer who came in, and he was like, he'd always be like, "I want love," and I was let him off gently, and he sent me a Cartier watch.
Just as a I love you?
Yeah, I was making like $25,000 a year. He sent me a Cartier watch, and the dumbass that I was back then when I was 23, I sent it back to him. And then he asked me...
You have no room to talk shit about me then.
I know.
You got the gift.
I
just got the offers. You fucking asshole.
The difference is I regret it. Hardcore regret it. So he sent me this Cartier watch, and then I was like, I can't do that. I said, did I say it like
Are we recording?
Yeah. Take his name out. Okay. This is like on our own podcast. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you the story, but I'm going to withhold this person's name. I'll say his name 19 times.
His address, his last 3 jobs, mother's maiden name.
I was going to wait for the to start the podcast or like to do a tell-all until after everybody died. But with the advances in medical science, people are living so damn long. It's just got to come out now. So anyway, he was like, "Do you want to go to Tunica, and I'll teach you how to gamble?" And Tunica is like the redneck Riviera, right? And I was living in Nashville at the time. That's where I'm from.
Is this pre-Cartier or post-Cartier?
He sent me the Cartier watch, and like a month later, he was like, "Okay, that was actually really honorable of you. Do you want to go to Tunica with me?" And on this private plane. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've never done that before." He's like, "I'll stake you with $400 and you just give me my $400 back if you win anything above that, and you get to keep the rest." And I'm like, "Cool." So we go down there. It's the first time I ever gambled to like the Isle of Capri Casino in Tupelo, Mississippi. No, Tunica, Mississippi. No, it was Biloxi. We were in Biloxi.
Oh, I love Biloxi.
Yeah, we were in Biloxi. That's the redneck Riviera. And I won like a lot of money, and then later in the night, and I think I drank like 2 drinks back then. I was a goody 2 shoes, and now I'm a dirtbag. But back then, and then I went to sleep, and I woke up, and he was in my fucking room.
Oh, he staked you out.
Well, also he paid for the room. Of course, he had a room key. Yeah. And so I freaked out. And then
what was he doing?
He was
standing in a corner,
masturbating. No. He was like, "Hey," he woke me up. I mean, and I was
That's
like,
nice of him at least.
What are you doing? And he was like, And I'm like, get out. And so then I did Road Trip and got a little successful. He took my parents. He contacted them. They've never met this guy before, and contacted them and asked them if they would like to have a limousine to watch it in a theater in Nashville. I mean, and my parents live like 50 miles south of Nashville.
Did they think he was a Hollywood exec?
I don't know what they thought. They were just like,
there's a limo involved. Let's fucking go.
Hollywood called and they're sending a limo down for us to go and watch the movie. And so I was like, that's weird. And then I found out like he died like 2 years later, and a guy who looked like a carbon copy of me actually took the watch and probably took the night in the casino, and he left him like a $3 million house in one of the nicest areas of Nashville that's probably worth $10 million.
That could have been you.
That could have been me. So sometimes in quiet moments, it will come back to me as an echo. I wouldn't have to deal with any of these fools. I would have sold that house and been a happy man.
Was it a nice watch?
It was like a Cartier tank watch. Yeah, they're nice. Those are nice watches.
I would have kept it.
I know, but I'm a different person now. I wanted love. I had love, and it took my first house. So now I know better.
The materialistic side of me is itching.
Yeah, no shit.
You could have had love and a watch.
I'm still not there. Like I've done movies with co-stars who, like, I know that they're married and it's something will develop on set, or their wife will come or their boyfriend will come, and then then their girlfriend or boyfriend will show up, and I'm like, I can't do it. I actually was at dinner once with a very, very famous actor, and I knew that he had a wife, and then his girlfriend came and had dinner with us, and I cried in the middle of dinner. Oh, wow. I was like, I did this. I'm not like you guys.
Does it ever get hot and steamy on set?
No.
It's like pretty strict.
It's so like, first of all, intimacy coordinators we have now nobody likes them. It's like almost like when I see that people smoke weed before they have sex, the last thing I want to be is more aware of what I'm doing in an intimate situation. You know what I mean? Like when I smoke weed, I'm like, what does that mean? I wonder if they like that. You know what I mean? So an intimacy coordinator, I can't even say it. They're like, so where are you going to put your hands? And I'm like, I don't know. And the other actor is like, this is weird. What you usually do is you negotiate beforehand, tongues or no tongues. Is it okay to grope? Like that kind of stuff. And then you work from there. And it's not comfortable, but it's more comfortable than having somebody else watching. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your hand, move your hand. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Imagine, but it's not romantic. It's not sexy at all. It's very technical. I was doing a TV show once in New Orleans called Memphis Beat. It was me and Jason Lee and Alfre Woodard, and I loved doing it because I got to live in New Orleans for a few years, and that really changed my life. I love New Orleans. It's a second home to me. Every time I go, I think about moving back all the time. But
have you been during Mardi Gras?
Yeah, and so much so that my last Mardi Gras, my third year in New Orleans, my friend Jacob called me and said he was passing out uptown, and I literally pushed my way up St. Charles and found him with his pants down, passed out on the side of the road, and had to pay two guys $100 to help me drag him back through the crowd. I was like,
he was wearing a Cartier watch.
I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. But anyway, Melanie Linsky was my girlfriend on the show. And she's amazing, and I've loved her since Heavenly Creatures, right? I mean, she's just an amazing actress. And she's one of the only actors who I'm friends with that I can watch. Like, I can watch Yellow Jackets and not think about that it's her.
Oh, right. She's in that.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Did you like that show?
I love it.
So good.
The third season's coming out soon. I think they're doing...
No, it's already out.
Oh, it is?
In full.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I've been on the road. So now I have something to do after this.
Finale's insane.
I cannot wait. But she's one of the few actors that I know, and it dissolves. Like otherwise I'm like, they do that all the time, or you know what I mean? I remember things about our friendship. But the one of the reasons why I love her as a person is that the first day I met her, it was like, hey, I'm a huge fan of yours, and I was like freaking out that they got her. Because I will never lose that. I am that guy who was like, I cannot believe this famous person whom I knew before I was acting is in a scene with me. I still get it. And I don't want to lose that. And so, and when people do it to me and they feel stupid, I'm like, no, always do that. If the other person can't handle it, it's on them. Unless you're at dinner or, you know what I mean, or like arguing with somebody in public or whatever, you know. But if you're at work, if somebody expresses their thanks and love for you, that's dope.
Right.
Anyway, I was like, hi, I'm DJ. I love you. And then we made out the whole day.
On
camera?
On camera.
Oh, okay. No, we just...
She really loved the compliment.
But it was our job, right? We had all of our romantic scenes that day. And so we made out like in 3 different scenes. And then later we were supposed... And then when you guest star on a show that if you're not a regular on that show, you feel like you're playing in somebody else's yard. And so the cast a lot of times won't invite you out. They like, hey, what's up? And then they're good friends because they're there every day and they know all the crew. And so you feel like an outsider. I make a point when somebody's guest starring on a show that I'm a regular on to invite them to all the stuff that we do while they're there, or invite them out by myself. And so I was like, Melanie, we're going out to drink tonight at my very favorite bar. It's called Vic's Kangaroo Cafe. It's right across the street from where I live. And she was like, I really appreciate the offer, and my husband wouldn't mind. I know he wouldn't, but because we made out all day, I just feel like for me it's wrong. And I went, I'm gay, and she was like, oh, I'll definitely come.
I'm there.
Yeah, but just the fact that was on her mind, even though her husband, and I met her then husband, and really like him a lot, and still like him, but out of respect,
Right?
because it can look line crossy, and I've seen it be line crossy so much. And
Does it make everyone uncomfortable on set?
It does, and especially if the spouses are visiting while we're filming.
Right.
But there was one show that I did in particular, and I know that I won't say these names, but they left their husband and wife to be together, and it was all over the news.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think they're married now.
Good for them.
But but I wasn't aware of it. Nobody was aware during filming, which I think if you're going to do that, just keep it private. Because also this was a very intimate filming experience. We all kind of lived in the same place, and it was Favored Nations this, and then I found out at the London airport the day before it broke because I saw them.
Oh, they were like hooking up and
Yeah. No, they just came over. I'm like, we have to tell you something. And then I did this. I have no poker face. I just did this. No. I did. What about your spouse? Yeah.
Wow.
Who I knew. I don't want to lose that. And of course it makes people uncomfortable and who are in those situations. And I really like both of those people who are now together. I really love one of them. But you can love somebody and still not be stoked about how they handle something.
How'd you guys end up doing your podcast together?
Oh.
So we met through Jim Jeffries. And at his housewarming, was his housewarming party?
I think it was his citizenship party.
Oh, right.
And we like hit it off immediately to the point where the party had ended. Jim had gone to bed. Everybody left. And we were still sitting in his backyard just chatting all night.
Yeah.
To the point where like JJ left at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're still sitting at the table. He's like, I'm going to go home now.
Yeah.
And so we hit it off right away. Then we became friends, like kind of just like bar friends, hanging out.
And then I ran away.
And then the first night we met, he's like, you have to take my number. We have to hang out, blah, blah, blah. And I texted him a couple.
MDMA. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't know that, actually.
Oh, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I never lie about anything.
Okay.
I didn't do it today. I'm not currently doing it. But if I've done something, I'm not going to lie about it.
No, you got
It's ridiculous to lie about anything.
Yeah.
I own everything I do.
Yeah. That's why I love him. I texted him like a couple days afterwards, and I was like, hey, it's Kelly, blah, blah, blah. And no response. And I was like, this motherfucker did not want to be friends with me. Like, why did you give me your number?
It's all sham.
And then I texted him probably 5-6 months later because it was Jim's birthday and I was doing this video for him, a compilation with all these actors and comics that he is friends with. And I texted him because I was like, Dan Bacadol was in it. So I was like, let's get the whole legit crew in there. Yeah. No response. And I was like,
did you see the text?
Yeah.
I'll explain why in a second. I have a reason for this, and I've worked through it.
And so I was like, all right, fuck DJ Qualls. No, I didn't really take it personally, but I was just like, okay, whatever. And then months later, I ran into him at a bar, and again,
was it Jones? Where were we?
I think it was Chimney Suite.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I love that
And
bar.
immediately like back to that first night and just like hit it off. And then since then, every time he was in town, we would hang out. So it's like every few months we would hang out and we would just chat all night. Like we just get into these long ass conversations, not on MDMA.
Like,
I've never done it,
regularly.
unfortunately.
Yeah, she hasn't.
And so right before the pandemic, I had brought up the idea of doing a podcast because like everybody loves him for his characters that he plays, but like people don't know him. And I was like, you are so fucking smart. You're so funny. Like
Thanks.
people need to know you. And so we agreed that we were going to do a podcast, bought mics and all that stuff. Then the pandemic hits and we're like, nah, okay.
Classic.
Yeah.
And so it took 4 years then for us to revisit that conversation. And but I'm glad we had to wait because our friendship was still pretty surface level at that point. Like we hung out every few months, but like we didn't have the foundation that we have now. It's like it was a blessing in disguise that we had to wait on it. But,
And then we did the first one, and it was magic.
yeah.
Because we had a history, and it's just, there's no structure to it. It's just us. We're talking. And the community that it's built around itself, like growing 20% 3 months in a row with no advertising. And we're not really present on social media. I mean, we post clips, but we don't.
We attempt to. It's like we constantly are thinking like, oh, we should be promoting this. And then we're like,
I mean,
forgot.
We're now moving into an advertising phase. But it's just grown organically, and it's been fun, and I like doing it. It's paying for itself. Pays our production costs because we pay somebody to do all that because we're both. The only person lazier than Kelly is me.
The dream team for a podcast.
Yeah, but it finds itself. It's finding itself, and we're gonna start doing a big push for it.
What's something new you learned about DJ while doing the podcast?
Oh man.
That I'm evil.
Yeah, constantly wanting to bend my fingers back.
Yeah, I heard that on the way in.
Well, I've definitely learned how to work him. It's like I know that there are things that he's going to push back on, like not wanting to do, and just like sometimes he has a little bit of like grumpiness or curmudgeonness stuff, but as a bit, you know. And
I'm a fake curmudgeon.
I know how to get him to do things where it's literally just bribery. It's like if we do this thing, we can go get a margarita afterwards. He's like, okay,
I think we're getting one drink after this. Otherwise, I'm leaving now.
Where are you guys going?
I was told maybe Thirsty Merchant because it's happy
that's
hour.
close.
It'll be happy hour. It's right there. Have you been a Thirsty Merchant?
I never go to bars. You guys
don't?
ask me to go to a
Are you
bar.
sober?
You can come with
No,
us.
I'm not sober. I just never drink.
What's wrong with you?
no.
I don't know.
I'm joking.
I've never been into bars or drinking or.
So here's why I like it. Because so much of my life is on the road. Nothing shoots in Los Angeles anymore. And since I started working, I think I may have worked here. I did Legit here. I did Bookie here on that show that just finished on Max.
Was Bookie a fun show to do?
I loved it. I really loved it. I gave myself Chuck Lorre gave me Tourette syndrome like 10 minutes before I shot. Did I ever told you this?
No.
Okay, so I get asked about Big Bang a lot. So I auditioned for Big Bang Theory and wound up screen testing for Jim Parsons for the role of Sheldon.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing. I was never going to get it, but I didn't know it. So what happens when you're asked to come in for network, they ask to see a face that they recognize. So you go through the whole process. You're the ringer. But they were always going to cast Jim. They're always. That's how he talks. That physicality is so ingrained in him, and he's perfect for it.
Did you think you had a shot?
Well, I didn't know the guy. I knew Kaylee Cuoco and I knew Johnny Galecki before that, and that was a big reason why I was like, oh, I love those guys. And I think I went to Kaylee's 21st birthday party, and I just knew Johnny from being around. And so I do this I think it was 6 weeks of auditions, or at least it was 6 weeks of prep, and then I read with him. He coached me a lot, and then we go in to read for network on the same. I mean, you read in front of each other. I didn't know that either. You're in this little theater at CBS, and he reads first. And I turned to Chuck and said, "I'm not going to get this." And he was like, "You're never going to get it. I'm sorry."
He said you're never going to get it.
Yeah. So then,
can I at least get my parking validated?
Yeah, exactly.
No, you can't have that
But
either.
that's how it works, though, and that's happened to me several times in my career. So much to the point that I don't do this anymore. I don't do that anymore.
Is there a shot of you blowing them away where you can get it, or is their minds made
It
up?
would have been it would have been a shot that's not good. it would be easier to win the lottery. He was pitch perfect for this. And it also rattled me because he was so good. And the thing is, it's rare that it's rare that I don't get something and see the other person do it and think that they were wrong, right? And I know we talked about that. And he was perfect for it. And so they offered me a part on, I think it was the second season, and I did it, and it was open-ended, it was going to recur. And I had this scene where I break the fourth wall and deliver a monologue out of character directly, because I'm a guy playing a character on the show. So I break character and play my real self and deliver a monologue directly to camera that's like 4 pages long. It's like the Philippines, Subic Bay, and this whole thing about this priest. And it keeps getting rewritten, and it rattles me. And so I struggle a couple of times, and then they make me pre-record it because they don't believe I could deliver it to the audience. And when lines are literally just handed to me, it's 4 pages long. And so I did it, and then I was so mad at Chuck Lorre and so mad at the experience, and I cried on the way there on taping. I prayed that there would be a fire at Warner Brothers, so I wouldn't have to do it.
Wish.
I wouldn't have to do it. I went in and I was so mad that I destroyed it when the studio audience was there. I got a standing ovation. We did our curtain call, and then I left, and that was it. I never talked to Chuck Lorre again. So then I'm shooting a movie, and this is like 2 years ago. I'm shooting a movie in downtown Los Angeles, and I get a call from my agent that Chuck Lorre wants me to be in its new HBO show. And I'm like, Chuck Lorre? Really? And I read it, and it's super funny. And I go in, and he's such a good writer, and he's such a good creator. And I have this thing with him that I really want him to like me. Like, I really do. And that's also why I think I felt so insecure, because I felt that he wasn't giving me grace for brand new pages. And also, I think I got a lot of direction on that I thought was unnecessary. And and it was an offer. So when I get directions for when I get a lot of direction from an offer, I'm like, you haven't even given me a chance to show you what I can do with this. Don't you direct after, not before the rehearsal? So we just had that relationship. And so I play a mortician with a gambling problem on Bookie. So I go in, hugs, kisses, I rehearse, and my whole scene is just me putting makeup on a cadaver, talking to 2 guys over my shoulder. That's my first scene. And so I do it. I get laughs, courtesy laughs. And then I'm going back to change into my mortician clothes with like the rubber smock and the gloves and the whole thing. And then he comes in. They're lighting. We're 10 minutes away from going. And he was like, I want you to have Tourette syndrome. I'm like, you can't just give somebody Tourette syndrome. There's a cadence to jokes.
Does he even need to run that by anybody?
No. He's the creator of the show.
Oh.
And Andy Tennant, who is like a romantic comedy director. I think he did How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and I know he did Sweet Home Alabama. So he's like, big deal in the romantic comedy world, and really funny, great director. But he just gave me Tourette's, and like the clock is ticking. I have to be on set with Tourette syndrome, and so then I'm like in there, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And they can't be verbal tics. They have to be nonverbal tics, because if they don't, it hurts the cadence of the joke, And so, but then I have to look at the script really fast, and it's a pretty lengthy scene, and decide where the ticks go, because that interrupts the joke. So then I get in there and get one pass and get a lot of laughs, and then he was like, there's something else. And then he brings me a hard-to-eat sandwich. So I have Tourette syndrome, a brand new sandwich, and I'm putting makeup on a cadaver who's a real person with their eyes closed. So then and I'm like, don't put mayonnaise on it, because I hate mayonnaise more than anything in the world. So I get this sandwich. It's like lettuce, cheese, and ham, and like the lettuce is dropping out of the bottom of it. And so I'm like, can I get mustard? So they squirt mustard all over it, and I glue the sandwich together, and then I get to this very clear place. I'm like, you don't hate me, you love fucking with me. And he went. So I did it, and I was rattled, and then so I finished my season out, and then I went back to second season, and I've told this story before, and sometimes it could sound like I don't like Chuck Lorre, which is not true, because I love the guy. Because I like being challenged, but I always resent it. Do you know what I mean? And so I finished my season last year, and I'm walking out to my car, and he comes walking out with Andy Tennant, and I almost have my foot in, like, shutting the door, and he's like, can we talk to you for a second? And I'm like, they know that I've told this story like on panels, and I've never told it like on a talk show or anything. And Chuck said, if we didn't have a door today on our video village, we would have wrecked every take that you did because we were laughing so much. This has been the day that we've laughed the most this far in the season. I think what you do is the stuff of genius, and I want you to internalize that and know it. And I was shocked, and it was so beautiful. It was so great that when I left them, and so gracious of him, that I drove away and parked on the side of the road and got my phone out so I could remember some of it. It was just such amazing stuff, and I started crying.
Yeah, he texted me. He's like, I'm crying right now. I'm like, why? He's like, Chuck Lorre was nice to me.
But it wasn't just nice to me. He's always been
he told me the whole compliment and stuff like that.
It was just saying, hey, I see you. And what I ask of you is really hard. I know it. I know what I ask of you is hard. And you deliver. I gave myself whiplash having Tourette's on that show. I was in a neck brace.
Is he going to bring you back?
The show's finished after 2 seasons. They're not bringing it back.
Oh.
But I love doing it. It was a great experience. And anytime you do something where you feel insecure, or even something small, like you've never been to a place, you book a plane ticket and you go there, it makes the world smaller and more manageable. And when I go through something like that, you're like, oh my God, I am good at this. Actually, I can stand alongside these people who are industry veterans, and I'm here on purpose. And that's a really good feeling. But then you forget it. You know what I mean?
On the next job.
Yeah, well, you do. Eventually, you know what I mean? It's like you forget your triumphs because when a new challenge pops up. But then when you start making headway in that new challenge, you're like, oh, yeah. It's sort of sense memory. I remember this feeling. I remember this feeling of getting it and getting through it. It's even like when you're memorizing dialogue, and I have a lot to memorize for the next day. I always approach it like, well, I'm never going to be able to memorize all this. And then an hour later, you're like, why do I do this to myself every time?
Very likely you wouldn't even enjoy acting the way you do if it wasn't challenging.
That's probably right. I get bored really easily. The only time that I've actually been asked to do something that felt like an insurmountable ask was that when I did Creep Show. I got asked.
When you were covered in the makeup?
No, that was Guillermo del Toro. This was Greg Nicotero, who did The Walking Dead.
Oh.
He's the EP or the creator and the showrunner of Creep Show.
What was so tough on that?
Well, they called me like 4 days before, and it was 43 pages of solo dialogue delivered directly to camera, and I was the only person in it. It was me and an animated creature who wasn't there, a CGI creature, and I was like, and it was they're like, do you want to? On Monday, they asked me if I wanted to go there on Thursday to start taping on Friday, and I was like, clearly they've offered this to a lot of people and who've turned it down because it's probably a hard job to do. It literally is there's no other human in the thing. There's a cop who comes to the door for 2 seconds, but it's just me and this tennis ball on the end of a pole that they're going to animate later. And I was like, and I started reading it. I'm like, I can't, there's no way I'll be able to do this so quickly. And so I asked them to send me the first day's work. And I said, if I have all 13 pages by tomorrow, then I'll say yes. And it was so beautifully written. And that next day I knew it all. And I went and did it and had a great time. It was just an amazing challenge. I've never done that before. And most actors don't have that experience. It's like doing a one-man show for a crew, for a film crew.
Is there a trick to remembering 40 pages of dialogue?
So I memorize things like as a whole. So when I can remember on the page where I saw the word if I start struggling a little bit. Also, you can slow things down. There are actor tricks that you can do if you start getting a little lost, and while you're doing it, you can reorient yourself without a break, so no one else can see it. I don't know if you can learn that. I think it's just, or maybe you can, but it can't be taught. You have to learn by doing it. But also, if something's really well written, it makes it just easier.
It's fun.
If something's grammatically incorrect, though, messes me up. And or if I would say it differently, even in the character's voice, like even if I was playing a redneck, I'm like, that's not exactly how I think that would sound best. I trip up on it. And you can ask a lot of time, you just change it, or if you feel like that they're sensitive, you just ask to change it. But if something gets changed, if like Chevy gets changed to Dodge,
that messes you up.
Because there are resting words all through this in your mind. And if a name brand thing or a name gets changed, names get changed all the time for clearance reasons. I don't know, like it can't be Clyde, it has to be Thomas. And there's no reason, they never tell you why, but it happens all the time. So much so that I rarely will get too much ahead to memorize things.
Because it just gets adjusted anyway.
Yeah.
Let me just readjust the mic real quick.
Okay. Did it go down? Have I told anything that was going to destroy my life?
Just that first person's name.
Who is it?
The Cartier watch.
Oh, yeah. Let's cut that out. You can leave that part in. I mean, this part. I like reality in podcasting.
I think it's fun.
Usually halfway through, when I guest on somebody else's podcast, my brain will start going, have I said anything that will destroy everything yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think I have, right?
No.
Have I?
No, I don't think so.
Can't remember anything about my own show. Can you remember that kind of stuff?
Yeah, only because I re-edit it like 1,000 times.
Oh yeah, you see it.
And then I clip everything out. People love the last episode. It was insane.
I couldn't believe how much love I got from it.
Did you see it on Facebook?
I saw it everywhere. I also the clips on TikTok. Like a couple of them got like
8 million.
Yeah.
3 on Facebook got 10 million. Jesus.
I couldn't believe it.
You're loved.
People like you.
So this is what drives me crazy about my career. That like when studio executives or door people or the Treasure Island Casino in Las Vegas where we're going this weekend, because I want to stay at like the old school Vegas places before they all go and become these big high-end resorts. We asked for an upgrade and said that I was coming, and they're like, but I will get 8 million views on something or 10 million views on something. So I feel like, and I think it's because, like I was in Italy once with a friend. We were in Capri, and the person at this beachside cafe recognized me and then told a waitress that there was a famous person over there, and she immediately went to my friend who's really handsome and asked if he was famous. And this happens to me all the time because you're not programmed that somebody like me would be successful. And so even though intellectually they'll know, or people see me like get recognized, and I think one thing that the reason why people recognize me so much, nobody looks like me. That doesn't mean I think I'm the best actor in the world or I'm so awesome, but nobody looks like me. And I had a hard time coming to terms with that, but now it's kind of dope. But I think I should be rewarded for it. I think I should be able to get an upgrade at fucking Treasure Island.
Hey, I agree. I'm going to clip this. Reach out to Fountain Blue. I'm sure they'll hook it up.
It's just like our buddy, the guy who our engineer on our podcast was like, well, we can get you an MGM, but you have to join the creator program. And
he sends me this long text like, yeah, we'd have to get DJ signed up with this influencer program. He'd have to do some content. I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work. I think we're going to stay in our regular room.
But that happens to me a lot. And my manager, I remember early in my career, I was on a call with him once, and I was being offered such a low amount of money to do something like that was really mainstream.
A movie or a TV show?
It was a TV show, and I think it was like year 9 of my career, and it was such a low amount of money that I couldn't believe. Like I know what people make on, and I wasn't asking for $1 billion, but it was, I think, the least amount of money I'd ever been offered before. And it was a pretty big deal, this job. And so my manager put me on mute so I could hear, and he was like, this is not, it's going to hurt your feelings. I got to hear business affairs, how they talk about us.
Ooh, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
It is,
I wouldn't want
They kicked the tires on a used car. The manager, the business affairs person from the studio kept saying, well, he's not Brad Pitt. Well, he's not Brad. Come on. This is good. This is a really good deal for your client. And this goes on and on and on to where I'm like, where are the razor blades? and then the guy finally says, it's just like, who does your client think he is? And my manager says, my client is DJ motherfucking Qualls, and hung up on him. And then I got what we were asking for.
Wow.
Yeah. We weren't asking for the fucking moon. We were asking for a normal episodic pay rate.
Right.
But I realized that in that moment that this is my path. My path is to be constantly, like even this, I made the mistake. So I read a lot of the comments. I never do that. I never read comments. And 99.99% you guys are dope. You have a great listenership.
1%.
But every now and then somebody will say something that will just cut you up, right? And there were a couple of those things that I read.
On this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or just the comment section, right?
Okay.
And for real though, the people that listen to this podcast or watch this podcast are just, they're into it.
Everyone loved you.
Yeah. They were really great, and that but I did it in the middle of the night when I had a couple of drinks after being out, maybe after trivia.
On MDMA?
Yeah, I'm definitely not that. I can't do that anymore. I'm too old for that shit, and I hate saying I'm too old for anything, but that I'm too old for.
He's like, I can't sleep. Let's see what the world thinks
Yeah,
about me.
exactly. It's like going on WebMD at 1 o'clock in the morning. You have all those diseases, right? So I went on and looked, and it was so wonderful, and I'm like, tears in my eyes, and I'm like, oh my God, this is all supposed to be, and I'm so happy my life turned out this way. And then it's like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? And I'm like, and then it was a clip that I was just talking about. I think I was maybe talking about pay or how things have changed. And it's like, he did 2 movies like 16 years ago, and people were like, came in over the top. And I'm like, that's not actually not, he wasn't saying I'm so awesome. You asked me a question, and I'm telling you how it is or was. But you get that, right? And I looked, and the guy's a bro. And I understand that from bros, because like, look at this little skinny fag. Like, how does, you know what I mean? It's because I'm awesome and good at my job. Sometimes you can just be great at your job. Or sometimes there's an episode of The Brady Bunch where Greg becomes a rock star because they had already bought the suit of clothes. Sometimes you just slot in where you're supposed to be, and then you earn your keep from there.
I think I know the comment you're talking about too. Because
Yeah.
I click on people's profiles and I screenshot them and I say to them like, "Ooh, this is a hater. Remember that. That's what they're doing." Are there any other behind the scenes moments from Z Nation that stick out?
It was just so stupid and fun. Like I mean, going back to what I was saying, imagine doing highbrow and lowbrow at the same time. It's a dream. And
You get the best of both worlds.
yeah, and I like low budget things. Sometimes you can have too much money that no creative choices are made. And I think that was a little bit of the problem of Man in the High Castle, to be honest.
Too many people throwing their input.
Just too much money. Like, we had a storyline. I think they spent like $11 million on a storyline in Morocco that never materialized. Crew was there. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that now. And it felt very like nobody was really minding the ship. Also, we had a different showrunner every single year on that show.
How come?
Because our first year, our showrunner lived in Paris. And there was literally nobody to ask, what does this mean? Because he's 8 hours ahead of us, and he's a great guy. But you need to be there. There has to be somebody on set that is minding the ship, because unlike directors, because on a film, a director's God, he's the alpha and the omega. But on TV, there's a different director every week, so you need a through line, and that through line is the showrunner. But you can't live in Paris and showrun a show in Vancouver. You can't do it.
You have to be there.
Yeah, so then we had another one the second season who I realized hadn't seen the show. And then the third showrunner didn't realize that the 2 leads had been in a relationship the first season, which made me also think he hadn't seen the show. Or maybe that was the same guy. I don't know. It just felt very chaotic.
In Man in the High Castle, how much was the budget for each episode?
I think $10 to $15 million.
Does that make the entire production like, we got to make sure we get this right, or is it more?
No,
lax? It's more lax.
It's the opposite, because if a $10 to $15 million movie, though, it would be more. We have to get this right because it's not a lot of money to shoot a film, but an episode of TV, and also 21 filming days to film this bitch. Usually it's 8 filming days.
Yeah, low budget is like everything matters.
Yeah,
but
everything matters.
With that type of budget,
And
it's like, fuck it, who cares?
And I think intent is clearer. Intent is clearer when there's
purpose.
When there's purpose. This has to matter, because we don't have the money or the resources to do this for much longer.
Was it weird filming with like swastikas in public?
It was so jarring. So I never met Hitler, but Hitler's alive on our show. The guy who plays Hitler. And
I think
so because it's asking what happened if we lost the Second World War. So Hitler's alive. It's in the 60s. He's aging. I think he has Parkinson's, and he's on his way out, but nobody knows it. And I live in Japanese occupied San Francisco, and Hitler controls the East Coast. The Nazis do. But on days that the guy playing Hitler worked, our character names are on our trailer. So you would walk in the morning to your trailer and see Hitler. I mean, that's subconsciously jarring. When we shot the pilot, we shot in downtown Seattle, and kept getting the cops called on us.
Because you're walking around with swastikas?
I mean, I wasn't a Nazi, but there's like there's Nazi iconography everywhere. But people are literally walking around with signs this big saying film set people, but it's so jarring to people that they couldn't see
past it.
They couldn't see past it. And good for you guys. Good for calling the cops on Nazis. But it is jarring, and the thing that when it really hit me, I was driving to work one day, and I was the second scene up, and I look over in one of the parking lots, and there's a second AD teaching kids how to salute, and he does it.
Oh, for the show.
Yeah, because not like recreationally.
I thought this was like a guy. And
hey, let's go to the mall later.
We're in a time period now where it is confusing.
Do this Nazi salute in front of that McDonald's.
Like, who are you guys hiring?
Yeah, but they're 7 to 9 year olds. And he's going, it's over there and that high. It's over there and that high. And that's how he taught him to do the Roman salute, the Nazi salute. Because they have to do it because it's a part of the show. And I'm sure there's some counseling going on there. They're not like, this is situational. You can't just be doing this.
Right.
You're not Elon Musk. You can't be doing that.
When a show like Man in the High Castle has such a high budget, does that mean more budget goes out to all the actors as well?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
It's all production costs.
Yes. See, when we went to digital, everybody said, you're going to love this.
Because you're on Prime.
Yeah. Well, no, but when we stopped shooting on film.
Oh.
Because film we would shoot 3 pages a day. A scene took 3 hours to light. But now they just, you rehearse and 10 minutes later you're ready to go, and they just smoke it up to create a veneer of sort of, a distance between you and bright digital, like 4K. But they're like, the savings are going to be passed on. Producers are like, everybody's going to make more money because things are going to be cheaper and you can film them faster.
But just the producers make
money. That never happens. A price never gets lower. A tax never gets lower. A salary never gets a benefit of. The working person on any level, whether you're an actor or a crew member, is not going to see savings for production. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It just doesn't. And sure enough, instead of doing 3 pages, now we're doing 13 to 15 pages a day, and salaries have actually drastically declined. It's almost impossible to qualify for Screen Actors Guild insurance now, and I feel...
Because you have to make a certain amount of money?
Yeah, and it's actually very hard now to make that amount of money because on modified low-budget things, you make $125 a day. And the union agreed to that. And what if that's your only job that year?
So if you get a starring role on a show like Yellow Jackets on Paramount Plus, are you set for a while?
No. The leads of that show, I'm sure, do super well. It's the only job you need for that season. And maybe it'll hold you off 2 or 3. We live in Los Angeles. You live here. You know how much things cost.
It's
insane.
$25.
It's insane. And I know, and I get when people come, when I talk, I think people get upset when I talk directly about money. I do it with my co-stars and my friends because if you don't talk about stuff, you don't know where you are, if you're being treated fairly.
I so agree with that.
Also, I like to talk about what things cost and what people are earning because...
You don't want to undersell yourself.
Yeah, and also just so everybody understands the reality of it. And a lot of times it's way more inflated than people think. And so I like to talk about that because And we used to get paid so much money that I was like calling people at home. I was like, y'all have to move out here. They're giving away money. I mean, it's kind of an affectation, but I really couldn't. But we made so much money. But people think that that's now. And so like, oh, you rich motherfuckers, shut up. I'm like, no, things don't pay like that anymore. And now we're fighting over scale, and scale's not a lot of money. We used to do something called top of show. When you guest star on a TV show, there's a minimum amount they could pay you. And now they're asking you to do a whole episode day rate, which is a lot less. And they
Do you get residuals though?
Very small residuals because the viewership is fractured because everything is streaming. And how do you quantify streaming residuals? All of the things that we used to safeguard ourselves for, the reason why residuals existed is because if you only work once in a year and you made $40,000 on that job, which is a high salary for something that lasts 3 months, but if that's your only job for 18 months, then residuals had to float you and pay your rent or your mortgage. And now they don't exist anymore, or they're very small.
So do you get residuals for Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. So that is a dope residual.
Because that's Big Bang Theory.
It's network.
So that's still being played on TBS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was a time when shows did 22 episodes. CBS is one of the only networks that still does 22 episode series. Everybody does 12 or
8 even.
Yeah, or 8.
I think White Lotus was 8.
Yeah, but also that's a streaming. It's a single network. It's a single platform show, so it's not going anywhere. You're not earning any residuals off that off platform, and that's the reason why you made decent residuals on other things is because when they syndicate, they go other places. That goes away from CBS. It goes to a Fox affiliate, or it goes, wherever it goes. But these shows don't do that. And so it's just a different landscape. None of this is woe is me. If you want to comment woe is me about it, I won't take offense by it.
The guy holding his fish, he's leaving that comment.
I've already been there with you.
Can you tell us about your new movie, Sky Valley?
Yeah, I loved being a part of this. We shot it on a mountaintop in New Mexico, in southern New Mexico, and with a mostly Native American cast and crew. And it sort of combines, it's an alien abduction movie set against life on a reservation. And my grandfather's mother was a Cherokee Indian, and and she was alive when I was born, but I have limited memories of her. But I don't identify as a Native American. I don't look. The only thing is I can't grow body hair. So, and that is a Native American thing. We're not hairy. But as I've gotten older, and my grandfather was the most important person in my life, and this was his mother, and still the most important person in my life, except maybe my partner. You just start thinking about things and remembering things. And then this came my way, and I've never been offered anything that was Native American. And so I went with a Native American cast and crew, and so I went and did it, and it was awesome. And what was cool is our Carrie, our costume designer, she's from the same place I'm from, the same part of the country, and the same place where my grandmother is from, my great-grandmother's from. And so she would ask me, did you ever tell, because all Native American folklore is scary, or a lot of it's scary, and the ones that I heard were scary. She's like, did you ever hear about Spearfinger? And I'm like, I never heard about Spearfinger. And she was like, she was made of rocks, and she had this long spear, and she would cut out your liver, I think. And I think the story was to keep you away from the Nantahala River, which was fast running. I think that story was, I think it was, all of these things were like to warn kids not to do these things because they were dangerous for them. And I was like, I never heard that before. And then I did this. When she walked, did it sound like thunder? And she was like, yes. And I had heard that story before, but I was so little I didn't remember the context of it. But I remember being afraid of thunder. And I think it was because of those stories. So it was just this really cool experience. And when I left, they gave me a blanket, and I bawled my eyes out on the way back down the mountain at like 5 a.m. It was just a great experience. And so much, I don't know how it's going to turn out. But my whole feeling about my experience making a movie is I went somewhere I learned at a place I would never have gone to. I met a group of people that I didn't know, and I felt a little closer to my grandfather and a little closer to understanding sort of where I'm from. It was just a cool experience, and I'm so glad that I did it.
Is there an anxious period now for you waiting for it to come out?
No.
Whatever.
I'm completely divorced from after I finished the movie. Or the TV show. I'm divorced from it.
You've done it.
Because you won't watch it, right?
I never watch them, but also this is an editor's and director's medium. They edit it, they'll color correct it. It'll go through so many processes. A lot of times storyline has changed, and I'll have to just come in and re-record different lines to change the story arc. I love the doing of it. I love being there. Like I still bound out of bed at 4:30 in the morning to go to work when I'm excited to be there. And I'm usually excited to be there. And it shocks me every time. I get butterflies the night before. I have a hard time sleeping. I have to take massive amounts of melatonin. But I wake up bright-eyed and ready to go the morning of. And that has never changed. And I forget when I haven't worked for long periods of time. I forget that. And without fail, every time the first day of set, I'm like, boom, let's fucking do this. Yeah, I love it.
Does DJ ever have you watch anything he's been in to tell you how it is?
I would rather die.
No, and it's funny because I know I've seen Road Trip, and I've watched Legit, but I didn't know you yet when I watched Legit. But other than that, I haven't seen anything he's been in.
They're very good.
I know, and I believe it. But
some of it's good.
But it's similar to why you don't like to watch a lot of things that your friends are in. It's just like it takes you out of it completely. It's like I don't know.
Like
It would
I could
feel weird, I
vomit
think, to
watching
watch it.
myself drink a Red Bull on camera. Like I don't want to see myself. There are a couple of things that, like, I had this really long monologue in Man in the High Castle. Like, it was 7 pages where I'm talking about some cufflinks that belonged to Abraham Lincoln that what he was wearing when he was assassinated, and it was the best thing they'd written for me ever. And I watched that and nailed it. And I got called from the network after they'd edited it together, and they told me they were stoked about it, and that made me feel really good. But I usually will watch like this. When I have a premiere, I take my glasses off. And so everything's blurry. I
You're
can
just sitting there like this.
The podcast has been good because I'm used to my own voice, and that's really been good for me. It doesn't bother me anymore. It used to nails on a chalkboard, but like I've seen all my friends' sex tapes, all of them. And anytime that somebody I know even remotely has a sex tape, I'm watching it.
Are they normally leaked, like on purpose? Always. Okay.
My buddy, I was at Dragon Con one year, and he had a masturbation video that was leaked, and I was made aware of it having dinner at a table with him, and I watched it on the other end of the table, and I went over and just did this. Good for you. And he went, what do you mean? I'm like, and he went, oh. And we never said another word about it. But I think if you have a sex tape leaked, you're probably also the kind of actor that can watch themselves perform, like as an actor.
Naturally.
Like I would rather die. I can't watch myself eat or drink on camera. If I ever saw myself have sex, I probably would never do it again. And I'm actually thinking about not doing it anymore anyway, because I don't want anybody else to have to see that.
He's retired. And the things that DJ makes me watch are older films that I haven't seen yet. Like we just watched Soap
Overboard.
Dish. We watched Soap Dish a couple weeks ago.
Soap dish?
Yeah.
It's where Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell fell in love.
No,
I
that's
know the
Overboard.
cover. Isn't it a pink cover?
Oh no. That's.
I was
Soap
talking about Soap
Dish.
Dish, yeah.
I was talking about Overboard. Oh, Soap Dish is great. It's Gary Marshall.
No, I've never seen. I don't know him.
So
It's fantastic. I hadn't seen it.
how old are
but
you?
35.
Age is not a fucking. You are old enough to have seen these two movies. Watch Soap Dish. No, actually watch Overboard first. It's a love story between Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Do you know them?
No.
You don't know Goldie Hawn?
Mm-mm.
Where are we?
We need to go.
Did you grow up in a cult?
I grew up in New Jersey.
Were you in a cult?
No.
Are you from a religious background?
Kurt Russell is
No.
understandable, not really, but Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn?
I never even heard of her.
Do you know who Kate Hudson is?
I know Kate Hudson.
It's her mother and stepfather.
Oh, I had no idea.
Kate Hudson didn't just didn't
Materialize
just didn't
out there.
materialize fully formed from Steven Spielberg's balls.
that really
she has
blows my mind.
parents who were famous before her.
She just did Running Point.
I don't like you anymore.
I had no idea.
That
do
truly
like you.
blows my
It really does blow my mind.
I haven't been surprised in a really long time, but
the
that
day that George Michaels died. Who's
George Mike? I'm just kidding.
George Michaels died. I was in Vancouver. Do you know who that is? He was.
Did he do the
Gotta
song?
have faith, the faith, the faith. I gotta have faith.
I don't know that song.
I'm not gonna punch you, but I am gonna tweet that you did some things, inappropriate things with me.
But no faith if you
So
heard
many
it.
people didn't know who I considered not that younger than me.
Limp Bizkit covered it. Yes. I know Faith.
Send your letters to.
DJ's gonna end up bending my fingers back for this.
I'm gonna punish her for your ignorance.
You didn't like Limp Bizkit?
No, I love them.
They're great.
It just that's like saying I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you. That's like it's saying that somebody else invented the fucking light bulb. I don't know.
It's like saying you loved the pandemic version of Imagine and not realizing that it was a Beatles song.
It's saying that something is a Temu version of something else.
Were you invited to be in the Imagine for the pandemic?
No.
Had you?
And
been?
I was invited to be in that Nickelback video. We're gonna be a rock star. We're in a furniture. I don't know how it goes. Everybody who was famous at the time got invited to be in it, but
you didn't do it.
I think I was somewhere else, and I'd also done a bunch of music videos around that time. And
You did Britney Spears.
Yeah, uh-huh.
What was that like?
She's great. I've known her for a long time. But I'd done a bunch of music videos in a row at that point, and I think I was music videoed out.
Like you didn't want to spread yourself too thin?
Well, I just also didn't want to be in 1,900 music videos around the same time.
Simple Plan, I'm Just a Kid. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm there. I just got contacted by their lawyer the other day. They're doing a documentary about them, and I'm gonna, I guess, provide some footage or maybe some commentary or something.
Yeah, if you need me there.
I love those
can come
guys.
by, I can do whatever you need.
Yeah, you know what? I will invite you to participate if you watch 2 fucking movies. Watch Overboard and Soap Dish.
We'll talk about Simple Plan
Jesus.
and Limp Bizkit, and it'll be a great time.
Jesus.
I'm truly mind blown.
Anyway, thank you so much for having us back on the show. I feel so free and it's so fun, and you jog my memory things that I haven't thought about in so many years. You make me feel a little old that you don't know who Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are, but that's it's only that much hurt.
In fairness, I think my brain is like the majority of people, so I do think a lot of people my age are unaware of Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
I don't know. I'm only 3 years older than you.
But
Yeah.
I think like my genre of taste and like,
Yeah,
like
So maybe it's that. It's not your age.
It's
because
the
I'm
genre
not letting you get away with the facts. You're not that much older than us.
I don't think
younger
it's
than
age.
us.
I think it's my bubble of like
Yeah.
what I enjoy.
I
But
just,
you
I
are
just feel
the-
like she's so famous that she
Yeah, she transcends any
bleeds
of that. Yeah.
into everything.
But you are delightful to be around and very good at this. So I will come back.
Thanks. Yeah, I've never seen her in my life.
She doesn't look like. What is that? An old current picture or a young picture?
All. There's black and white photos. There's current. There's new. I don't even know what she's been in.
Send your letters to
Kurt Russell.
If you're offended by this, listen to our podcast.
Kelly. We're going to the bar. Yeah, listen to our podcast. You can find it on. I don't know any of these
Everywhere.
words, but she does. Tell everybody.
You can find it everywhere: Spotify, Apple, YouTube,
I didn't
all
know
of that
that.
stuff. It's called Locked and Probably Loaded.
You can go to
with DJ and Kelly.
loadedpod.com.
it's gonna be linked down below, so go check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! I don't know any of these
Every
things.
month we do a live Zoom happy hour with our Patreon patrons.
We get loaded until
yeah,
secrets
we get drunk and we chat with everybody.
from my
And
living room.
if you want to come to that for free, go to loadedpod.com, put your email in, we'll send you an invite.
All right, I enjoyed being here. We're going to the bar.
Thanks for coming.
It was great.
So, yeah. Again, I've never seen these movies.
Unbelievable.
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Was she not?
Yeah, she was Princess Leia.
That's not Princess Leia. I know. Made it to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation with DJ. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment down below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right.